Before I had the ability to work metal, I built engines out of wood. Engine 12 was a large reciprocating engine made out of scrap pine wood I got at the local hardware store. It had a distinct bird's eye pattern in it, which is why I chose the boards I did for this project. The cylinder was 3 inches square and had a throw of 3 inches as well. It used an eccentric slide valve assembly to direct the air from one side of the cylinder to another, and used the shop vacuum's exhaust as a driving source. The flywheel is 9 inches wide. The first one is made out of stacked plywood with a hole drilled in the center. I ended up creating a new one out of glued lumber. I built the engine designed by Mathias Wandel for a simple reciprocating engine in wood. I took some of the design elements and used it for this engine, turning it on its side to be a vertical. I also designed a completely new valve gear and valve setup. As you can see, the original flywheel had quite a bit of run out in it. It wasn't straight and true. And the engine also struggled when it ran for the first few times. I had to apply some sealant to the wood and apply gaskets to the cylinder heads for it to run with a little more power. However, it was extremely exciting to see it run for the first time regardless. That's what you're seeing right now. This is the first run. After applying some tweaks and sealing up air leaks, the engine was able to run faster, although I never applied a load to it to see if it had any sort of real driving power. The new flywheel was made out of 3 pieces of 2x6 lumber glued together on end and turned on the lathe. It's not completely true, but it has much less run out and wobble than the plywood one that I started the engine build with. My initial attempts at running the engine were with an air compressor. That didn't work. I used the exhaust for my shop vacuum, and the increased volume from that was able to allow it to run. I was able to tweak it enough to where I got it to run on a compressed air line one time, although I didn't follow up on this. It ran happily under the power of my vacuum, which tells me that it needed volume of air rather than sheer pressure, something that a simple air compressor couldn't provide. I use cheap motor oil to lubricate the bearings. Because wood-on-wood friction seems to be much higher, it also doesn't seem to be as picky on what it takes to lubricate. Some would say wax, some would say specific types of oil. I use what I found, and it seemed to work very well. In the spring of 2022, I donated Engine 12 to the local middle school to be used in the physics department. I'm hoping children get some sort of educational value out of something that I've made. I haven't built anything so large or wonderful since. It's occurred to me to try, but I don't know if I can do something like that in metal. Maybe I'll build another one like this out of hardwood. The bitter truth is that I would not be able to build something like this in metal. My tools are not nearly large enough to build something so grand. This was done on a table saw with a drill press, scroll saw, and wood lathe.